Fans barely realized what had happened as Karlie Red appeared in front of the spotlight, with a secret whirling behind her eyes, even though the scene was set for a typical reunion special. Although there had been rumors that something significant was in the works, nobody anticipated what would happen next. Karlie paused, took a deep breath, and revealed the shocking news that she was pregnant as everyone was watching, and Kirk Frost might be the father. Suddenly, the room exploded. Rosita's jaw fell, the jock's face went pale, and even the crew behind the cameras couldn't conceal their surprise. Does Karlie indeed have Kirk's child in her belly? After months of quiet phone conversations, late-night texts, and covert meetings, the rumors were finally exposed on public television. Fans are taken aback. Emotions were running high. You could cut through the tension with a knife. Everyone was curious. Was Karlie risking everything to expose a treachery that had been going on for 10 years? Or was this just another ruse for screen time? One thing became evident as the rumors developed into full-fledged conjecture. This claim had the potential to destroy friendships, split families, and derail the biggest stars on the network. Everyone is wondering what Kirk Frost would say if he were faced with the prospect of becoming a father to a child he never anticipated. When mayhem engulfed the set following Karlie's Bombshell, the studio lights had just begun to fade. Kirk Frost's heart was beating like a battle drum as he sat motionless in his chair. Karlie's eyes had glistened with tears and something fiercer, defiance, which was unexpected. With a shaky but unwavering voice, she had declared, "I'm pregnant," and Kirk Frost might be the father. As if to prevent her own voice from escaping, Rosita's palm covered her mouth as Jojo's breaths became trapped in his throat. Every second was captured by cameras. Kirk's hands balled into fists, his neck pulse was evident, and his cheeks were devoid of color. No one said anything for a while. The world seemed to hold its breath, hardly believing what they had just heard. At last, Jojo threw his microphone on the ground and jumped up. "You believe that I am a fool?" His voice was rough with hurt as he yelled, "You believe I would parent someone else's child? Have you gone insane, Karlie?" Karlie got up from her chair and gestured at him with a quivering finger. "Joker, stop acting like the victim. Did you ever stop me from living a lie when you knew there were rumors going around?" "No, you were too preoccupied to pay attention to the cameras. It's my time now." The sound of his jacket snapping as he pushed away from the set echoed like a gunshot as Jock rushed off stage. The host made a valiant effort to reassure the cast members who were still in shock. His voice faltered as he begged, "Let's take a moment. We need time to think about this." However, the harm was already done. With videos playing on innumerable feeds with titles like Kirk's pregnancy accusation, Karlie's shocking revelation, and does Kirk have a secret child on the way? Social media accounts became viral in a matter of seconds. Backstage, Kirk collapsed into a makeup chair, his energy seemingly collapsing inward. "Kirk, we need to talk," said a stylist as she gently approached. Kirk shook his head and scratched his temples, saying, "No, I can't. Not right now." The stylist gave a blink. "You must reply to this. Rosita, the show, and your audience all depend on you." Kirk's voice cracked as he closed his eyes. "My side? I don't recall much about Karlie other than the fact that we were nice. After maybe 1 or 2 drinks, we had a good time. However, a pregnancy? A kid? How was she able to conceal this for months?" Rosita, meanwhile, paced like an animal in a cage, angry tweets tagging her name, desperate texts from pals, and pleading emoticons from Kirk's family filled her phone with messages. "Did you know?" She tapped a message to Joker. "Is that accurate?" Jojo's response surfaced a few seconds later. "I'm finding out. I have no faith in her. Come to the parking lot and meet me." Rosita let out a trembling breath. After a brief moment of hazy vision, she raised her chin with determination. Ready to face whatever was beyond, she walked for the exit, Karlie sagged onto a couch after being led to a private waiting area. Producers were hovering about with their phones. "We need exclusive footage," one producer muttered anxiously. "Obtain her response, her justification, anything." Karlie stared at the floor while brushing her hair back. With a voice full of sadness and determination, she whispered, "I did what I had to do. If I remained silent, I couldn't live with myself." The producer gave a nod. "We'll be there for you, but be prepared. Public opinion is brutal. They will call you a variety of names." Fans in the audience stared, some wiping away their tears while others whispered plots. Within minutes, Jock Kirkfather was trending on Twitter, rising to the top of the global topic list. Fans were writing that Karlie's friendship with Kirk was deeper than anyone realized, that Rashida's recent posts revealed secrets, and that Kirk had been acting strange throughout the season. Rumors swirled. Had Kirk rented Karlie a covert apartment? Months ago, did Rashida suspect infidelity? Did Jojo know? Though nobody was certain, conjecture fueled the flames. Jock paced outside the studio in a flickering streetlight, his face displaying a mixture of anger and tears. He turned and looked into Rashida's eyes as she came, breathless. He started, "Rashida!" But she interrupted, her voice strained. "Don't! Keep it! Were you aware of this?" Jock gave a head shake. "I swear I had no idea." Karlie never said a word. She kept it between the lines, the looks, but I thought it was nothing. Rashida's jaw clenched. "Nothing. Fucking nothing. My husband could have created a child with my friend, and you thought it was nothing." Some passersby slowed to watch as Jock ran a hand through his hair, exasperated. "Look, I'm sorry. I cherish you. We can fix this." She whirled away, jaw quivering. "We? Fix? I can't even breathe right now. You two lied, both of you. Lying is an art form to you people. Wow, congratulations, you painted a masterpiece." Kirk's sister, Nimi, arrived just in time to see Rashida rush away. She discovered Kirk in the parking lot, arms wrapped about himself. "Kirk," she whispered softly, anxiety etching her features. "We need to talk." Kirk turned, eyes rimmed red. "Didn't Karlie say she's sure it's me? I don't remember any night like that." Nimi swallowed. "Kirk, I saw the footage from the reunion. You seemed terrified as she shouted your name. Our mom contacted me an hour ago, weeping, demanding explanations." Kirk buried his head in, his hands and slumped against a light. "What even should I say? I have no information that I haven't shared with Rashida." Nimi touched his shoulder in consolation. "We'll work it out. Obtain a private DNA test. For now, keep it between us." The presenter took a steadying breath and closed his eyes as he returned to the set. "Karlie, could you please explain the timeline to us? When did you become aware that you might be expecting? And why Kirk?" Karlie took a sip of water and nodded. Her voice was steady yet low as she sipped. "I started experiencing symptoms in January. I assumed it might something to do with nutrition or stress. I became anxious when the results of the first test came back positive. I contacted a physician who performed a blood test. My HCG levels were high, so he ordered a paternity test and advised me to sit down. I waited for weeks, trying to figure out how to give the news to someone. I initially believed it might be Jock's, but the dates didn't match. I then reasoned that it might have been a stranger at a party. However, since Kirk was the only other person I was connected to, I began to think about him. And the results of the second test pointed in Kirk's direction. Her remarks were weighty. Among the audience, there were murmurs. Was it real? Did she actually take tests? The host leaned closer. "Do you have any records?" With a shudder, Karlie reached inside her purse and took out an envelope. "I do. Copy of the laboratory findings. Potential paternity, Kirk Frost, according to the transcript." I've been sitting there in fear. However, I was no longer able to lie. The host gestured for a producer to come on stage, who cautiously accepted the envelope she held out. The cameraman zoomed in on the plain envelope when the producer nodded, creating a brief moment of silent anxiety before returning the envelope. Some people in the audience fanned themselves while crying as a tingling electricity poured through the studio. One murmured, "The family was left divided. This betrayal is the worst I've ever witnessed." The host stared at Kirk, who appeared to be about to faint. "Kirk, what are your thoughts?" Kirk's voice faltered. I'm not sure. I must personally witness such outcomes." Rosita sat with her fists clenched around her knees. "We require answers. Right now." Joker, who had stalked back onto the scene, gave Karlie a sneer. "What on earth made you wait until now? Did you intend to obtain ratings?" Karlie's expression stiffened. "Don't even begin. Ratings are not the point of this. This baby's life and my life are at stake. The truth was what I needed, not the attention." To reassure everyone, the host held out a hand. "Let's maintain civility. Karlie, Kirk, and Rashida, we'll cut to a commercial break before coming back to show the first segment of those test findings." The cameras turned away. Audience members whispered as the actors flinched. Behind the scenes, producers and stylists discussed how to save the segment. One producer snarled, "We have to control this story. The network will collapse if we don't. Manage it properly." Backstage interviews recorded brief excerpts during the break, with one staff member muttering, "I can't believe this. You can't take your eyes off of it like a train wreck. I've seen celebrities fight, but pregnancy accusations?" A security guard said, "That's novel." The vitality crackled. Rosita confronted Karlie in a passage in the dim backstage area while the commercial lights were still on. "Didn't you know what you were doing?" Her eyes were flaming as she snarled. Karlie stood up straight and looked into her eyes. "I couldn't stand it any longer, even though I knew it would hurt you and everyone else. I felt like a phony every time I smiled at you two on screen." Rosita's voice faltered. "So you made the decision to destroy my marriage and the life of my best friend?" Karlie flinched as though she had been hit. "At this moment, you cannot claim me as your best friend." Rosita's voice went up. "How dare you? Are you envious of my family's success? I've treated you with nothing but kindness." Karlie's lip trembled. "Good? I was keeping this secret in the hopes that someone would be interested enough to ask the proper questions while you were living your ideal life." Rosita's face became expressionless. "If Kirk doesn't take ownership of this, I will, so you'd best hope he does." Rosita left with a crisp click of heels on the ground after threatening to do so. As she leaned against the wall and breathed shallowly, Karlie's hand went to her tummy. Kirk was pacing across the hallway with his phone close to his ear. "Dr. Jenkins, could you please check that they received my sample? I did indeed see the envelope. Tonight, I must get those lab results. Could you hurry? I'll do anything." "We'll do our best, Kirk," said Dr. Jenkins in a crackly voice. "However, we need time to confirm. By dawn, you'll have something." With a look of worry on his face, Kirk combed through his hair. Jock joined Kirk a little while later. With shadows under his eyes, he appeared older than his years. "What am I meant to do, man?" he inquired. Kirk looked helplessly at him. "Joker, I'm not sure. I have no idea." Jock sneered. "Are you clueless? Karlie is going to give birth to a child bearing your name. Your wife is upset, and your reputation is in ruins. It's not even close to being clueless." Karlie gazed at a wall of monitors in the makeup area that displayed the live broadcast. "I apologize," she muttered to her reflection. "I sincerely apologize." Her phone rang with texts from admirers hailing her as courageous, from detractors accusing her of lying, and from Kirk's parents demanding an explanation. "Baby girl, we're here for you no matter what," her mother texted her. As the theme tune From the set echoed through the walls, Karlie slid down the wall and started crying uncontrollably. The host reappeared with a solemn expression as the cameras indicated the conclusion of the break. "Welcome back. The first section of the lab results is now prepared for public release." The host pressed a remote control while a producer rolled a monitor onto the stage. A scanned paper was shown on the screen with the following information. Sample confirmed. Subject identified as Karlie Red. Sample date January 5th. A possible father figure, Kirk Frost. 98 is the likelihood score. 7%. The audience sent out a gasp so loud that it was audible through the seats. Rosita's face began to well up with tears. Jock put his hand over his mouth. Kirk's eyes widened, every pore etched with incredulity. The presenter looked at Karlie. "What do you think?" Karlie drew a trembling breath. "I hope this clears up any confusion. I hope Kirk takes charge and owns up to his mistakes. I need this to be true, even though I'm afraid, because he is essential to both this baby's and my lives." As he spoke, Kirk's voice broke. "I have no words at all. I never imagined myself in this situation. I promise to be there for you if you need anything, Karlie." Rosita suddenly leaped to her feet. "Avoid talking to her. I need an explanation from you. I'm owed everything by you." Kirk gazed at Rosita, tears welling up in his eyes. "We'll be back after a short break to dive deeper into these results, hear from the families, and see how this bombshell is changing their lives," the host said, as Kirk struggled to formulate a response to the first portion of the main body. Kirk was looking at the floor. Rosita was wiping her eyes. Karlie was clutching her stomach, and Jock was standing by himself when the cameras panned. Unresolved, the intensity simmered. For these reality stars, the horror had only just begun, and the dramatic storm was far from done. As the monitor showed that 98, there was an unsettling silence in the studio. There is a 7% chance that Kirk Frost and Karlie Red's pregnancy are related. While Jojo fell to his knees with his hands over his ears as though to block out the world, Rosita stumbled out of her chair, her face a mask of complete destruction. Every unfiltered emotion was captured by the rolling cameras. The presenter found it difficult to remain calm. His voice was hardly steady as he said, "We'll take a moment. We'll investigate the implications of these findings when we get back. Remain with us." The strain persisted even after the feed ended. Kirk fell against the wall backstage, his knees giving way as if the weight of the revelation were crushing him. Rushing over, Nimi put her arms around him. "Kirk, take a deep breath. Inhale," she muttered. Kirk's voice faltered. "I'm not sure what to do." None of this was what I wanted. His lips were covered by Nimi's finger. "For now, concentrate on Rosita. Go look for her." Kirk gave a dull nod and staggered off down the hallway. Rosita sat slouched on a couch in the green room. She looked at her phone, rereading message after message, her mascara gone, saying, "I'm so sorry, Rosita. I didn't know. How could he? We are available to you." Jock knelt next to her and gave her shoulder a light touch. Rosita didn't raise her gaze. Jojo's voice was low. "I apologize for this incident, Rosita. Karlie didn't inform me in a timely manner. Thus I was unaware." Rosita pushed Jojo's hand away with a sigh. "Don't. Just don't." Her eyes filled with tears. "My spouse, my fucking husband, the one I trusted beyond all others." Jock shut his eyes. "I understand. I am aware." Rosita's lips quivered when her eyes met Jojo's. "And you also didn't stop it. You were aware of the warning signs, the excuses, the late-night calls. You had the opportunity to ask questions, but you chose not to." The shoulders of the Jock drooped. "I had faith in you both. I didn't anticipate any of this." Rosita gave a headshake. "Belief? Trust is for idiots." She dabbed at her cheeks. "I must speak with Kirk." Kirk discovered Rosita outside the loading. Dock entrance of the studio, gazing at a trash can as if it were about to burst with responses. He moved carefully closer. Rashida. She didn't look around. Kirk took a swallow. I received the results. I noticed the screen. I finally understand. Rashida turned abruptly, her eyes flaming. Now you know. You were aware of this all along? Kirk hurriedly shook his head. No, I promise. I was unaware until just recently. Karlie didn't reveal it. I attempted to obtain a private test, but until today, I lacked documentation. Rashida's tone was severe. You made an effort? When I was expecting our second kid, where was that effort? When I believed our marriage was secure, where was that effort? Kirk's face fell flat. I apologize. Rashida averted her gaze. Sorry is insufficient. Not right now. Never. Kirk trailed behind, his eyes watering. I cherish you. I adore our children. I'll do everything it takes to put this right. Rashida laughed bitterly. Will you do anything? Explain how it happened. That's your only opportunity. Kirk let out a breath. We attended that charity event. There was wine. I made jokes with Karlie. I was intoxicated. She put her body up against my. I felt embarrassed, so I kept it from Rashida. I believed it to be innocuous. I ought to have stopped it there. Rashida scowled. You slept with her then, and kept it a secret, while I was in love with you, as I created a life with you, and you lied after that. Kirk's voice faltered. I understand. No justification exists. Rashida gazed at him while crying. I need room. Kirk was left standing by himself in the harsh fluorescent light as she left. The host went back on the air inside the studio. Welcome back. As we begin to peel back the layers of this startling revelation, the tension is evident. Emotions ran hot backstage. Let's listen to Karlie now. When I learned that Kirk might be the father, my world fell apart. I wish I never had to bring this on live television, but I had a responsibility to this unborn child. The camera switched to Karlie, who was standing with a resolve in her eyes. The host turned to Kirk's empty chair and said, Kirk, where are you? Have producers been able to reach you? And to Jock, I'm sorry for the pain I've caused, but I had to choose truth over lies. Kirk deserves the chance to step up, even if it's too late to save what used to be. She swallowed, her voice firm. Fans watching at home left comments like, I can't believe Rashida's pain. This is brutal, and I want Kirk to suffer. The host nodded and said, we respect that. For now, let's show a clip of Rashida's reaction to the news. The screen flickered to footage of Rashida throwing her microphone, walking off stage in tears, and crashing into a wall in pure agony. The audience whispered, so that means Kirk lied for months. One cast member said, so that means Kirk lied for months. Another said, maybe Karlie didn't know right away. The host went. These dates are based on information provided by Karlie and her legal counsel. We want to be clear. This is a developing story, and none of this has been independently verified. We'll check in with Rashida's camp next, but first, let's understand the timelines. Backstage, the Jock huddled with his sister Monique, and his voice trembled as he said, Monique, I don't know if I can stay on this show. I feel sick. Monique squeezed his hand and said, you can't leave now. Our son needs you, and the world is watching. A wave of murmurs echoed. Fans still trusted the show to give them the real scoop. Jock nodded and wiped his eyes. I know. But seeing Karlie and Kirk acting like nothing's wrong, it's too much. Monique leaned forward. You have to face it. For your son. Jock inhaled deeply. All right, I'll stay. In another corner, Rashida was pacing a darkened room while speaking to her mother on the phone. Mom, he did this. He betrayed me. she said, her voice trembling. Her mother's calm voice replied, "I know, darling, but we'll get through this. Focus on you and the kids." As Rosita brushed away her tears, her mother paused and said, "That's a choice he made. Now it's your choice how you respond. You're strong. You'll make it. How do I trust him again? He's the father of another woman's child. I need to stand up on that stage tomorrow. I'll do it. For our children." "That's my girl," her mother said. Meanwhile, Kirk sat in a private trailer, staring at his phone, scanning through news sites. Kirk Frost paternity scandal rocks reality TV. Karlie's pregnancy claim divides cast. And will Rashida forgive? He texted Karlie, "We need to talk off camera, please." A few seconds later, he received the response, "Fine, but I'm keeping my boundaries." Kirk let out a big breath and called his lawyer, saying, "We need a statement. I'm overwhelmed." Kirk nodded, tears in his eyes, and said, "Okay, thank you." The show resumed as producers cut to a segment called Cast Reactions, where Jojo first appeared, wiping a tear, saying, "I feel betrayed, but my son's welfare comes first." The lawyer's advice was to prepare a sincere apology, commit to paternity duties, delay any divorce discuss. Then, in a confessional, Rosita's companion Yandy said, "I hope she finds peace. I'm focused on him." Next, Kirk's cousin Mona spoke to the camera saying, "We love Kirk, but this is a mess. He has to own up now." The host went back to the main stage and said, "Now that the results are public, the question remains, will Kirk accept paternity and do right by that child?" A video clip was shown of Kirk saying solemnly, "I will support the baby. If I am the father, I'll be there. No excuses." The camera zoomed on Rashida's face, tears streaming, and the Jock slumped, head in hands. Fans watching tweeted, "I admire Jock's strength. Kirk needs to pay, and Karlie is brave." As we navigate this tangled web of relationships, one truth stands clear. Secrets, once revealed, leave nothing unchanged, the host said, as Karlie stood tall, tears and resolve mingling. Part 2 ended without a resolution, leaving viewers eager for more. What would Kirk do next? Would Rashida forgive? How would Jock move forward? And could Karlie truly build a life with a man whose world she'd just shattered? The studio quieted down as the monitor showed that 98. The host struggled to keep his cool, saying, "We'll take a moment," with his voice barely steady. "When we return, we'll explore the fallout from these results. Stay with us." The feed cut, but the tension persisted as Rashida staggered off her seat, her face a mask of utter devastation, and Jojo sank to his knees, hands pressed over his ears as if to block out the world. The 7% probability score linked Kirk Frost to Carl Red's pregnancy. As if the weight of the revelation had physically crushed him, Kirk's knees gave way backstage and he fell against the wall. Nimi hurried over and put her arms around him, whispering, "Kirk, breathe, breathe." Kirk's voice trembled. I don't know what to do. I didn't want any of this." Nimi's finger was placed over his lips. Kirk nodded numbly and staggered toward the hallway. In the green room, Rosita was sitting slumped on a couch, her mascara gone, and she was staring at her phone, reading message after message. "I'm so sorry, Rosita. I had no clue. How could he? We're here for you. For the time being, concentrate on Rosita. Go find her." Rossi didn't look up as Jock knelt next to her and gently tapped her shoulder. Jock's voice was soft as he said, "Rosita, I'm sorry this happened. I didn't know, and Karlie didn't tell me in time." Rossi sighed and pushed Jock's hand away. "Don't. Just don't." Jock closed his eyes and said, I know. Rosita's eyes met Jock's, her lips quivering as she said, "My husband. My fucking husband. The one person I trusted more than anyone." Jock's shoulders drooped. I trusted both of you. I didn't see any of this coming." Rosita shook her head. "And you didn't stop it either. You saw the signs, those late-night calls, the excuses. You could have asked questions, but you didn't." She wiped her cheeks and said, "I need to talk to Kirk." Kirk discovered Rosita outside the loading dock, door of the studio, looking at a trash can as if it were about to burst with answers. He approached her warily and said, "Rashida." She didn't turn, so Kirk swallowed. Rosita jerked around, her eyes flaming, and said, "I got the results. I saw the screen. I know now." "You know now? You knew this whole time?" Kirk hastily shook his head. "No, I swear. I tried to get a private test, but I didn't have proof until today." Rosita's voice was harsh. "You tried? Where was that effort when I was pregnant with our second child? Where was that effort when I thought our marriage was safe?" Kirk's face crumpled. "I didn't know until just now. Karlie kept it hidden." Rosita glanced away and said, I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't cut it. Not now, not ever." Kirk followed, his eyes welling. "I love you. I love our kids. You'll do anything? You have one chance. Explain how it happened." Kirk sighed. "We were at that charity gala. Wine was flowing. Karlie and I joked around." Rosita's laughter was sour. She pressed herself against me while I was intoxicated, but I was too embarrassed to tell Rosita since I believed it was innocuous and should have ended it there. "So you slept with her and kept it secret?" Rosita scowled. Rosita stared at Kirk with tears in her eyes and said, "I need space. I know. There's no excuse. I loved you while I built a life with you, and then you lied." Kirk's voice broke. "Welcome back." The tension is palpable as we continue to unravel the layers of this shocking revelation. Backstage, emotions ran high. "Now, let's hear from Karlie," the host said as she left, leaving Kirk standing alone in the harsh fluorescent light. The camera panned to Karlie, who was standing with a resolve in her eyes. My entire world fell apart when I discovered that Kirk might be the father. I wish I didn't have to do this live on TV. However, I had an obligation to this unborn child. Even if it's too late to save the past, Kirk deserves the opportunity to take charge. She swallowed, speaking firmly. Additionally, I apologize to Jock for whatever hurt I may have caused. I had to pick truth above falsehoods, though. The host looked across to Kirk's vacant seat. "Where are you, Kirk? Have you been contacted by producers?" A producer gestured. "He is in a separate room, off camera. He asked to be left alone for a bit." The host gave a nod. "We honor that. Let's play a video of Rashida's response to the news for the time being." The screen shifted to footage showing Rashida hurling her microphone, leaving the stage in tears, and colliding with a wall in excruciating pain. "I can't believe Rashida's pain. This is brutal, and I want Kirk to suffer," were among the remarks made by those who were watching at home. The host went back to work. Next, we'll check in with Rashida's camp. Let's first examine the timelines, though. Dates were shown in a graphic. Charity Gala, January 10th, first positive home test for Karlie. January 30th, initial paternity suspicion. February 15th, live reveal, March 5th. The crowd whispered. "So that means Kirk lied for months," muttered one cast member. Another person retorted, "Perhaps Karlie wasn't immediately aware." "These dates are based on information provided by Karlie and her legal counsel," the host went on. "To be clear, none of this has been independently confirmed, and this is a developing story." Fans still believed the show would give them the inside scoop, thus a wave of murmuring reverberated. Jock gathered with his sister Monique backstage. His voice wavered. "I'm not sure if I can continue on this show, Monique. I'm feeling ill." Monique gave his hand a squeeze. "You can't go right now. The entire world is watching, and our son needs you. Be strong for them." Joker wiped his eyes and nodded. "I understand. but it's too much to see Karlie and Kirk acting like nothing's wrong. Monique leaned closer. You must accept it. For your son, Joker inhaled deeply. All right, I'll remain. Rosita was talking to her mother on the phone in a separate area of a darkened room. He did this, Mama. He betrayed me, she said, her voice trembling. In a calming voice, her mother said, I know, darling. However, we will overcome this. Concentrate on you and the children. Rosita dabbed at her tears. How can I trust him once more? He is the father of a child born to a different woman. Her mother hesitated. He made the decision to do so. You can now choose how to react. You have strength. You'll succeed. Rosita released her breath, bracing herself. I have to take the stage tomorrow. I'll carry it out. For our kids. That is my girl, her mother remarked. Kirk, in the meantime, was sitting in a secluded trailer and gazing at his phone. Numerous calls from Rosita, Jojo, his parents, and his manager were missed. Kirk Frost's paternity scandal rocks reality TV. Karlie's pregnancy claim divides cast, and will Rosita forgive? Were some of the news articles he perused. He texted Karlie saying, We need to talk off camera. Please. A response came seconds later. Okay. However, I'm maintaining my boundaries. Kirk let out a long sigh. He called his attorney. We require a declaration. I'm feeling overburdened. The attorney suggested that you commit to paternity duties and prepare a heartfelt apology. Stop talking about divorce. With tears in his eyes, Kirk nodded. All right, thank you. Producers cut to a segment called Cast Reactions, and the show resumed. Jojo first showed up, dabbing at a tear. Despite my feelings of betrayal, my son's welfare comes first. I'm concentrating on him. After that, Yuandi, a friend of Rosita, sat in a confessional. Rosita is in a lot of pain. Kirk's treachery was deeply hurtful. I wish her tranquility. Mona, Kirk's cousin, then spoke into the camera. This is a mess, but we love Kirk. He must come clean immediately. I admire Jock's strength. Rosita doesn't deserve this. Kirk needs to pay. And Karlie is brave were among the tweets sent by those who were watching. The host went back to the main platform. The question still stands. Will Kirk admit paternity and act in the child's best interests now that the results are available to the public? I will support the baby, Kirk said solemnly in a video clip. I will be present if I am the father. No justifications. With tears running down her cheeks, the camera focused on Rosita's face. Joker drooped, hands clasped together. Karlie stood, erect, her resolution and tears blending together. One truth stands clear as we navigate this tangled web of relationships. Secrets, once revealed, leave nothing unchanged, the host said. The unresolved conclusion of Part 2 left viewers wanting more. What is Kirk going to do next? Would Rosita extend forgiveness? How would Jock proceed? Furthermore, could Karlie really start a life with a man whose world she had just upset? After all of this treachery, tears, and promises, where do we stand now? Rosita is striving to defend her family while being forgiving. Karlie Red has courageously taken the public stage to seek the truth, and Kirk Frost has finally accepted responsibility for his acts. However, there are still concerns. Will Kirk's attempts to restore trust actually put the pieces back together? Can these three co-parent without their interactions being tainted by resentment? And will they fulfill their pledges to provide each child with the secure, caring environment they deserve? We would want to speak with you. What are your predictions? For the future? Do you think Kirk and Rosita can get better? Will Karlie have enough faith in Kirk to allow him to co-parent this child? Post your opinions in the space provided below. Be truthful, show consideration, and let's discuss it. If the drama in this episode astounded you as much as it did us, please hit the like button, Subscribe for more thrilling updates on reality shows, and ring the bell to ensure you don't miss any. Until the next time, keep in mind that while the truth on reality TV might be painful, it can also liberate you.